Welcome back to WikiLert.
Today, we're tackling the shocking Charlotte stabbing case, a brutal incident on the city's light rail that's left the community reeling and sparked urgent conversations about public safety, mental health, and the failures in our systems. On August 22, 2025, 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee Iryna Zarutska was fatally stabbed in a seemingly random attack while riding the Lynx Blue Line in Charlotte's South End neighborhood, and the release of surveillance footage just days ago has amplified the horror. If you've been following the news, you know this tragedy has hit hard, especially given Zerutska's story of fleeing war for a new life only to meet this senseless end. So, grab a moment, get comfy, and let's break it down step by step, like we're sitting together piecing together a story that demands attention, covering what happened, who was involved, the investigation, and the ripple effects on Charlotte. Let's get into it. Picture this. It's a Friday night, August 22nd, 2025, around 10:30 p.m., and the Lynx Blue Line train is chugging through South End, a vibrant, up-and-coming area in Charlotte, known for its breweries, street art, and bustling nightlife. Iryna Zarutska, a 23-year-old student from Ukraine, boards the train at the East/West Boulevard station, her headphones on, eyes glued to her phone as she settles into a seat. She's been in the U.S. for just a short time, having fled the horrors of the war in her homeland to start fresh in Charlotte, enrolling at Rowan Cabarrus Community College in 2023 to pursue a better future. Loved ones described her as having a heart of gold, always helpful, supportive, and full of hope for new beginnings. But in a split second, that hope shatters. Surveillance video released by the Charlotte Area Transit System on September 5th shows Zerutska sitting quietly for about 4 minutes when Decarlos Brown, a 34-year-old man seated in front of her, suddenly pulls a pocket knife from his hoodie. Without any apparent interaction or provocation, he lunges, grabbing her head with his left hand and stabbing her 3 times in the neck. The footage captures the terror. Zerutska looks up at him, scared and confused, before collapsing in a puddle of her own blood about 30 seconds later. Passengers react in shock, but no one intervenes. Immediately, some freeze in fear, others look on from behind. Brown walks away casually as Zerutska lies there, unresponsive. First responders arrive, but she's pronounced dead at the scene from her knife wounds. It's a chilling, unprovoked act that's left everyone asking how something so horrific could happen on a public train in Broadview. Let's talk about the victim, because Iryna Zarutska's story makes this tragedy even more gut-wrenching. She was a young woman full of promise, escaping the violence of the Russia-Ukraine war to seek safety and opportunity in America. Friends and family remembered her as a sweetheart, always ready to lend a hand, with one family friend saying it makes them sick to think she's gone. She'd been studying at Rowan Cabarrus Community College since 2023, building a life in Charlotte, a city she chose for its welcoming vibe and chances for growth. A GoFundMe set up by her relatives has raised thousands to help with funeral costs and support her family back home, with the organizer writing that this is an irreparable loss for everyone who knew her. Zerutska's death isn't just a statistic, it's a reminder of the dreams cut short for immigrants like her, who come to the U.S. chasing peace only to face unexpected dangers. The fact that she was alone on that train, minding her own business, headphones in, phone out, makes the randomness of the attack all the more terrifying. Now, the suspect, Decarlos Brown Jr., 34, from Charlotte, was arrested shortly after the stabbing but was first taken to the hospital for treatment of a laceration on his hand, the source of which isn't clear from reports. He's been charged with first-degree murder and is being held without bond. What's shocking is Brown's history. He has 14 previous court cases in Mecklenburg County, including a 2015 conviction for robbery with a dangerous weapon, breaking and entering, and larceny, which landed him a 6-year Prison sentence. He was released in September 2020, but his record didn't stop there. In September 2022, he was arrested for assault on a female, though details are sparse. And in January 2025, he faced charges for misusing 911 after allegedly calling on police for not taking his medical issues seriously. In July 2025, a judge ordered a forensic evaluation for his competency in that case, but it never happened, and he remained free. Brown's lawyer has cited his long history of mental health issues, including a schizophrenia diagnosis, and plans to seek an evaluation for his competency to stand trial in the murder case. His mother has even blamed the courts for letting him out, highlighting systemic failures in handling repeat offenders with mental health struggles. The investigation unfolded quickly but painfully. Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department arrived at the East/West Boulevard station around 10:30 p.m., finding Zerutska already deceased. The train was held at the stop as a crime scene, and cats provided all available surveillance footage to detectives. Brown was located soon after, arrested and hospitalized before being booked. Police have confirmed there was no prior interaction between Zerutska and Brown. It was a random act of violence on a crowded train. Witnesses described the scene as horrific, with one passenger frozen in fear just one car away, saying she's traumatized and unsure when she'll feel safe riding public transit again. The affidavit details how Brown unfolded the knife and stabbed her without warning, walking away as she bled out. No motive has been released, but Brown's mental health history and criminal past point to deeper issues. The CMPD's Homicide Unit is leading the probe, urging anyone with info to call 704-432-8477 or Crime Stoppers at 704-334-1600 anonymously. The aftermath has been a whirlwind of grief, outrage, and calls for change. Zerutska's family and friends are devastated, with a GoFundMe pulling in over $12,000 to cover expenses and support her relatives in Ukraine. Community members held a vigil in South End, lighting candles and sharing stories of her kindness, emphasizing how she sought refuge from war only to lose her life to violence here. The stabbing has exposed vulnerabilities in Charlotte's public transit system, the Lynx Blue Line, meant to be a safe, efficient way to get around, saw at least 5 injuries reported in 2025 before this incident, up from 0 in 2023. Riders like one local woman who prefers the train for its cameras, and crowds now question their safety, saying, "I thought it was more secure, but now I'm scared." Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles called it a tragic situation tied to mental health and homelessness failures, committing to work with Mecklenburg County and providers for better safety nets. She's not villainizing those with mental illness, but stressing compassion and diligence, like treating it as seriously as cancer or heart disease. City leaders are under fire. At a tense public transit meeting on September 3, 2025, Interim CATS CEO Brent Cagle acknowledged vulnerabilities, while council members like Dimple Ejmera pushed for more security. The stabbing's timing, amid a sales tax increased ballot for transit expansion, has put the referendum at risk, with challengers to Mayor Lyles rolling out plans like installing 200 cameras linked to real-time crime centers, de-escalation training for operators, and pop-up events with police. District Attorney Spencer Merriweather spoke broadly about judicial constraints, noting under-resourced prosecutors and complex involuntary commitment standards. Brown's case exemplifies this. He was released without bond in January for the 911 misuse, despite a pending evaluation. Merriweather suggested using minor offenses like fare evasion for early intervention, but critics say the system's overwhelmed, with only 85 prosecutors for a city this size. Social media and the community are in an uproar. X is flooded with posts demanding justice. One user writing, "Iryna fled war for safety in Charlotte, and this happens? Fix the transit now." Reddit threads with hundreds of upvotes share witness accounts and call for accountability, one user saying, "The video's horrifying, no one helped her." Where was security? Others highlight Brown's history, noting 14 cases, released multiple times. How does this keep happening? Vigils and fundraisers are ongoing with family. Friends like Lonnie saying, "She had a heart of gold, and it makes me sick she's gone." The randomness, no interaction between victim and suspect, has everyone on edge. With writers like Jessica and Weesey saying, "I felt safe on the train because of cameras and people, but now it's scary." This tragedy's bigger than one incident. It's a wake-up call for Charlotte's public safety, mental health support, and transit system. Zerutska's story, from war refugee to senseless victim, underscores the irony of seeking peace abroad only to face violence at home. The investigation continues, with Brown's competency evaluation pending, but the community's pushing for real change, more cameras, faster response times. Police took 6 minutes to arrive, and better handling of mental health crises. Mayor Lyles. Special meeting of the Metropolitan Transit Commission on September 3rd aimed to address this, but residents like one advocate denied a chance to speak are frustrated, saying, "The mayor's supposed to protect us, where's the action?" As the case unfolds, Charlotte's grappling with how to make its transit safer without stigmatizing those in need. What do you think? How can Charlotte prevent tragedies like this? And what's the real fix for mental health and transit safety? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like if you're sending love to Iryna's family, and subscribe for more stories that matter. Tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for rocking with me. Let's keep pushing for change. Fam, rest in peace, Iryna.